start first with, tell me your name.
My name is Pete Carpenter.
What's your position here, Pete?
I'm an occupational therapist here at Vernon Elementary and a few other schools in the district.
Okay. So look at me.
Okay.
All right, so Pete, tell me a little bit about the sensory classroom.
Sensory room here at Vernon it was established about a year and a half ago. It really felt like a grassroots movement because there was a genuine need. We surveyed the students to find out what they wanted and what maybe they were lacking in their environment and educational environment, and it was pretty clear that they were seeking movement, more movement. So for at least for this school, the sensory room evolved with that in mind, really data-driven from the people that matter most, the students. And when we originally set out to design the space and to facilitate a space that would meet their sensory needs, we always kept in mind safety, and we always kept in mind that we wanted to tie this into academics as much as possible. And eventually, this could be hopefully tied into their natural learning environment inside the classroom. I think there's been some success on that front. I've seen teachers starting to change their lighting systems so that, especially after transition or recess, if you have soft lighting, the children respond immediately, a lot more so than verbal prompts. I also see a lot more standing breaks, stretching breaks, and we are always banging the drum for more movement. We believe that the students are natural movers, they want to be moving, and that they'll actually learn more when they are moving.
What are some of the things that you've seen as success with certain individual students? I mean, have you, from the beginning of the year through going through the whole year?
That's a good question. I think probably emotional awareness, self-awareness, and the ability to self-regulate. Some students don't have any sense of what they're feeling. It's all externalized. And other students have a good sense of what they're feeling, but have no tools to meet their needs. And there's a lot of trauma, and there's a lot that these students are dealing with. And if you incorporate really loud or alerting environments, it's just like the perfect recipe for a blowout. So I guess to answer your question, it would probably be students who are learning to channel their energy in productive means, and understanding that if they're getting exercise and movement, if they're getting breaks at appropriate times and communicating well with their teachers, that they can address some of those needs in really productive ways.
What are some of the feedback or some of the comments that teachers have made after their students have been in here?
I think if we're doing our job well, the teachers have been given a lot of upfront instruction and training on how to use the space if an OT isn't here. That's been one of our biggest challenges. This space may not be ideal for every student. There's other schools that are doing really inspiring work with wellness programs, mindfulness curriculum, and that might be a better fit for some students who need less movement or a calmer environment. But what we don't want is for students to come back overly alerted to the classroom and set off other students. So I guess to answer your question, what ideal scenario and what I've seen working sometimes, especially with guidance, is students coming back to class feeling regulated, understanding what they're feeling and what they want to do, a better focus. That's not always the case, but that's what we're aiming for.
The activities and the things that the students can choose in your habit, how were those chosen?
We have a variety of assessments we use to, if a student is referred to OT and goes through assessment process, we have assessments that really try to tease out what types of sensory inputs they're sensitive to and what types of sensory inputs they're seeking. So a student might be really overly sensitive to certain sounds, and so we can work with the teacher on accommodating those sensitivities. If a student's really seeking deep pressure, students bumping into other students or teachers, and seeking hugs. We don't see that as a behavioral problem that can't be fixed. We try to get that student's sensory needs met at appropriate times. Yeah.
This is stuff that may not end up on the first video, but we can use down the line.
Sure, appreciate it.
I'm trying to think if there's something else someone else. Is there anything else you think you haven't covered or hasn't been?
I guess I just want to reflect that there's that this isn't particularly unique. I want to give credit where credit's due. There's been sensory rooms that have been developed by many other schools, many other staff, and I'm just trying to follow in their footsteps, and I'm really gracious that the administrators here have been supportive. And I want to highlight that this model may not be a perfect fit for all schools, and that you might need a sensory or movement space, could be incorporated into the playground, or you might really need a space that's going to be a lot more calming. And I encourage schools to really try to identify what the school culture and student needs are. Yeah.
So I think before I go, can you tell me your name?
Brad Parker,
And Brad, what's your position here at the school?
assistant principal at Vernon School.
All right. Sounds good. So Brad, you're going to look over here at Pete, and you guys are going to have a conversation. I'm not really here.
Hi, Brad.
Hey,
Thanks
Pete.
for doing this.
Yeah.
And thank you for being such a strong leader for Vernon and for the sensory room. Would you be willing to talk to us a little bit about the origins of the room?
Yeah. So our staff, this is our third year together, and last year we started to explore a little bit in professional learning, what the role of sensory needs in schools, and also the potential impact when those needs aren't met in the classroom. And it really, I would say, started off as sort of a professional inquiry, where staff just really were hungry to learn more about what are sensory needs, what is sensory processing, and it kind of turned into this idea of thinking, does my class meet some of those needs, and if not, am I seeing maybe some of these behaviors? And that curiosity really led a lot of people to want to turn it into action and think, what could we do here at a small scale? And that's really how it all started.
Okay. How did you get from that point to actually making and helping create a space?
We had a couple staff meetings where we chatted about sensory processing needs, what sensory needs in schools can look like in the classroom. And I think what people started to learn is that there were potentially a significant number of students that were not meeting those needs in the class. And the idea of using a space like this to create a sensory room started to sort of turn into a reality when we had a team of about 5 or 6 really committed staff members that wanted to be a part of making this happen. We took that energy into a couple meetings together, just thought, what could we do collectively together with the support of our community? And that ended up turning into a variety of Donors Choose grants, which were shared with our community, and it really just took off from there.
Okay. What kinds of things are students using the room for? And yeah, we'll start there.
I think the room is, we're still working on best practice. I think the neat thing about this entire endeavor is that we aren't looking to solve any problems. We're looking to be better at doing what we do, and that's engage kids in differentiated learning and getting them what they need. As part of that, a lot of things have come up in terms of a lot of kinesthetic needs for students to get energy out and things like that. But we wanted to be really careful that this room was not a playroom and or a place that kids were sent if they were having a hard time. So instead of this being a reactive space or a reactive response, we're thinking about using it more as a proactive response, and really making sure that we're intentional with creating activities and almost in a sense a sensory diet for kids to get what they need, enter and exit in a place where they're ready to return to learning. In the green zone, they say,
right.
Ready to learn back in class.
Right, and that ties in well to my next question. Could you speak to the curriculum of zones of regulation? What do the students do when they come into the room, and what do they do when they leave?
So when students come into the room, they check in using the computer sets, and it basically says, what zone are you currently in? The kids have a lot of background in that. Our counselor, Ms. Mears, has done a really great job of using that curriculum really with the entire building. So it's not uncommon to ask a student, what zone are you in? And it's not uncommon for them to just come out flat and tell you if they're in the red zone, if they're having a hard time with something. So when kids come into the room, they check in. That's a facilitated conversation and a kinesthetic activity of selecting it, of reflecting kind of what they need. We're working on the next step being really intentional in a sense that the staff member has some built up new knowledge in terms of what potential activities or things in the room could meet that need and help the student go back to the green zone, and that's always the intention. The intention is always to get them in a place where they're in the green zone, which simply means ready to learn.
Self-promotion, shameless show. Has your occupational therapist been involved in that at all? Or?
Our occupational therapist played a huge role in this. As learners and as an administrator, I didn't have the background in sensory needs to be able to lead this movement. So the role of our OT was foundational, because if we didn't have that, it just really would have been hard to not only understand what it could look like, but just to have that leadership and that connection. And I think in large districts especially, you know, the role of the occupational therapist, unfortunately, is often overlooked because of their caseload, because of the number of schools they work at. And we really started to realize that that is not giving not only those needs that kids have, the immediate and respectful attention that they deserve, but also a more formulated response and plan to help them meet their needs and be successful, not only in school, but just to feel good about where they're at and who they are.
Any preliminary data showing that it's being helpful?
So we intentionally use the zones of regulation to collect data on when kids come in the room, what type of zone they're in, and then when they exit the room. And the data has been incredibly promising. On average, we're seeing that the number of students exiting the room in the green zone is significantly higher after spending. We usually aim for no more than 15 minutes in the room. I think the next step in really taking this movement to the next level is really training up staff, using our occupational therapist as the lead, but not necessarily the only person delivering these services. So training up our EAs, our para-educators, our teachers, our student teachers, anyone that works directly with kids should feel comfortable coming into this space and helping a student get back into that green zone, get back into a place where they're ready to learn, they're centered, and they feel good.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parker, for being an outside-the-box thinker and a great leader here at Vernon.
Thank you.
So is there anything else you would like to say that maybe you didn't cover?
I don't know, Pete, what do you think?
I was going to ask you about next steps in future growth, but I think you did speak to that.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm also curious about gen ed. Like we're using it for some students with special needs, and on my caseload, but there is the question of like, will this be a space for gen ed students too, and if so, what's the challenges? I don't know if you want to ask about challenges.
I can. I guess it's if you think that content would be helpful or hurtful for the movement, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me. I'm happy to.
I'm fine just
fine.
the way
Okay.
I went.
Because we can always, I mean, obviously I'm going to edit, so we don't have to.
Yeah, there are a couple ums in there. Sorry about that. You have a little editing.
Okay.
Okay. So let's just walk from over here, as if I'm seeing you for the first time today. Okay. So how you doing?
Good.
Okay, let's check you in. Okay, first name. You want to type your name in there? Grade level. You're fifth grade, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Staff names already filled out. So how's your day going?
Good.
Would you say do you remember the zones of regulation and what each color means?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What zone would you say you're in?
I'm in green.
Oh, good. Okay, so let's mark that. Okay, so that's it for now. We're gonna pick out your activities we're gonna do in here next. Okay.
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 So stop.
So whenever you're ready, we're gonna make a plan for our activities today. So here's kind of like a menu of things that we have to do in the room, including trampoline, calming tent, squeeze fidget, visual perceptual activities, Calming activities, earmuffs. So you know some of these menu items, but some of them are alerting, some of them are calming for you, right? What I want you to think about is we're going to sandwich those activities, sandwich the movement activities between two calm activities. And some people find deep pressure calming, other people don't. But if you do like deep pressure, we would start with that. Or if you want to just do a calming activity, we can start with that. Then we move into a movement activity, which could include the trampoline, could be the balance board, that could be the basketball shootout that we do sometimes. And then we're going to end with a calm activity, okay? So starting with either deep pressure or calming activity, which of these activities would you like to start with?
I'm going to start with pressure.
Deep pressure? Okay. Do you like the squish that we do sometimes? Or do you want like, do you like the hammock deep pressure, or do you not have a preference?
I will do the hammock.
Okay. I'll do the hammock, and I'll mark that on here. And for movement activities, what kind of movement activities are you drawn to in here? Do you think that's going to help you with focus during the school day?
The squishy.
This one? Okay. What kinds of activities would you like to do that can call, like moving your whole body, like either the trampoline, balance board, it could be the stationary bike, or it could be the spinning, or it could be the basketball hoop?
I'll do the balance board.
Balance board? Okay. Okay, and then you can also change your mind as we go. But to finish up, we'll probably be over here. We can either do some mindfulness, some mindfulness training, or meditation, or some quiet reading. We could do Legos, or some sort of fine motor activity. Any of those things sound good to you? Just to finish.
We could do sand table.
Sand table sounds good. Okay, great. More of a kinesthetic activity. Okay, so we'll do sand table. Okay, sounds like a plan. Okay. All right. Then, okay, let's start with a hammock. So you're liking your new teacher, okay, huh? What does he? Do you know if he has a math background or reading background? What kinds of things is he into?
He's really into exercising.
Exercising, okay. That's good. That's good news for you because you also like exercising, right? Okay, open or closed?
I'll close it.
Okay, and rocking or no rocking?
With rocking.
Okay, I'll do slow rock. You tell me if you want more or less, okay?
Okay. A little more.
A little more.
That's probably good.
Okay, and let's move to the movement activities you chose, okay?
Okay.
Good, you already took your shoes off. You know the deal. And what did you say? Did you say the balance board?
I said balance board.
Balance board, okay. There's two different balance boards here. You can try them both out. Okay. All right, I move this out of the way. Okay, so first let's just start with getting your center, your balance, which is no problem for you, huh? That's easy. Now, do you remember if the small one's easier or harder? Let's see.
The small ones, I think, is the easier because you don't have as much space to go out, so you know where to put your feet.
Let's try it. Just try not to smush your toes.
Let me. Okay.
Oh, easier or harder?
Easier.
Okay. Let's go back to the big one, just because I want this to be actually a challenge for you. Sorry, Dan.
Can we let's see.
Let us know when you're ready, Dan. Okay. Got your balance? Okay. It's just like a metaphor for your day, right? When things get a little crazy, find your balance, find your center, right? Okay, so that was one challenge. Now we're gonna increase the challenge by doing a dual task. So I'm just gonna play catch with you. It's pretty easy, right? But keep your balance. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to increase the challenge even more by asking you some spelling questions and some math questions, okay? Oh. You ready? So we've got 3 different things going on here. The idea is that if you're moving your body while you're learning, you might be able to integrate those things a little bit easier and remember them. Okay, so starting easy. 2 plus 2 plus 4.
Equals 8.
Okay. What is 8 times 3? Keep moving. Or keep
24.
Good. What is 24 minus 20 plus 2?
It equals 6.
This is 2. Oh, God, you finally stumped you. Good. Okay. Spell the word excited. Is that too hard? Do you know that one? Let's start easier. Let's spell the word happy.
Happy.
Okay. Spell the word down.
DOWN.
Good. Spell the word baby.
BABY.
Good. Okay. That's good for now. I've challenged you enough.
Okay, let's let me get a couple shots of your feet balancing. So throwing the ball in my. So I can do some cutaways on it.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to get a close up of you catching the ball.
Do you know how to spell the word birthday?
Birthday.
Mm-hmm.
B-E-R.
E-I.
E-I.
No, B-I.
T-H.
B-I-R. B-er.
Oh, all right. B-I-R.
Good.
T-H.
Good.
D-A-Y.
Good. Okay. How about saddle? Okay, that's a tricky one too.
S-A-D-L-Y. E.
Close. D-D-L-E. Good.
Oh,
Okay. What is 14 divided by 2?
14 divided by 2 equals.
14 and a half.
Huh?
Half of 14.
Yep, I know. 17. I mean 7.
7. You got it. You got it. Okay.
No, that's good.
Good? Okay. It's like goop, but it's solid.
Exactly.
All right.
But,
Would you say this is like a solid or a liquid?
this is a solid because there's little pieces of it making it do this.
Yeah. But it's kind of like acting like a liquid, huh?
Uh-huh. It comes out of your hand. Even when you do this,
Right.
it comes out of your hand like a liquid.
Right. All right. You ready to start the game?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Eyes closed. Try to find an object in there. Any object. We're going to be kind of small. Okay. Good. Try to find another object. We're going to identify the objects.
Okay, I'm going to change to a close-up.
Okay.
Pulls up the object.
I can put another object in there if you want. Sorry, I cut yours.
Found one.
Okay. Okay. Okay, what do we have? Okay, so okay, now we have a series of objects here. I want you to touch them, to look at them, feel them, and then we're going to have you close your eyes. I'm going to hide them in there, and then I want you to visualize those objects and find them. Okay? Because they're going to be. It might be a little confusing because there'll be more than one object in there. Okay. How about this one? Okay. Got the kind of a memory of what that feels like. Okay. Okay, eyes closed. Okay, hands out for just a sec. Okay. All right. You can, with your eyes closed, put your hands back in, and I want you to try to find the object that looks most like an O. It's close. That's good. He's still in there.
Here it is.
Good. Good. Okay. Eyes closed again. Find the object that reminds you of an H or like a window.
Okay.
Visualize an H or a window.
Here it is.
Nailed it. Good. So that activity is called stereognosis. And you're using kind of like a mental map of what the object is, but you're also using the kinesthetic sense of what the object is, right? How does that translate to writing, or how you're writing?
If your eyes are closed while you're writing, you know the movement of your hand, so you sort of know what you're writing.
So there's a body awareness of how your hand moves even with your eyes closed, right? But what about the shape of the letter? Do you think it might help you visualize the shape of the letter that you're trying to make too? Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks so much for your help today. We're done for now. And I hope,
I just got a little ball of it.
I know, it's like tempting.
Okay, keep playing. Let me get a shot of that. There you go. Okay.
It's like a solid ball, but
then you drop it, it's like... Let's go ahead and check out and get you back to class. How are you feeling right now?
Green.
You're in the green zone? How would you describe the green zone? And what parts of the green zone do you feel?
I feel happy and energetic.
Okay, good. Okay, let's mark that. You're in the green. And it says, what primary activities did you do today? A lot of these words you may not know, but you can look at some of the other words like hammock, scooter board. Vestibular activities requiring your balance. Did we do anything that required balance? Yep. Okay, so what is a secondary activity we did today? Deep pressure or kinesthetic, using like your sense of touch, sand table. Yep, we did that too. So let's mark that. And how long were we in the room? 15, 20 minutes approximately. Okay, you're in the green. Great, all set. Thanks, Zazie. We'll take you back to class, okay?
It's a huge camp. There is a lake, and if you go all the way across the camp, there is a beach on the other side. And I forgot what the beach is called, but we did dancing there, and we got to go into the ocean.
Nice.
So, yeah, that was fun.
You know how to swim?
Yep.
Oh, nice.
I wanted to surf, but we couldn't.
Oh, have you ever been surfing?
No.
But you'd like to try it? I bet you'd be good. You're pretty good at the balance. You ever do any skateboarding or anything similar?
Yeah, I have.
So I'm just gonna get some shots here, just